What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire with the Green Legion Radio. Yup, brought to you by Live Casino in South Philadelphia and Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler, 102.5 Philadelphia. Let me read our first sponsor today, and we'll get right to our guest. Game days at Live. Make Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia your game day destination, whether at home games or whether it's an away game. Head to the Center Bar, Sports and Social to watch the game. Enjoy food, drink specials, giveaways, contests, and more. Participate in Ron Jaworski's $100,000 football challenge. Make your picks against Ron Jaworski every week for a chance to win your share of $100,000 in prizes and Jaws tickets to the big game. Visit any promotional kiosk to make your picks each week. You must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit livecasinophilly.com for details. Y'all, welcome to the Fryar Place. Y'all come on in the room. I see there's a few of you who are watching right now. Please acknowledge yourselves so we can see you, so we know who you are, who's with us right now. I know we're on a little bit later than we usually are during the week, but it's all right. We have a great guest for you today. It's going to be off the chain. I'm not going to wait any longer. He is a surprise. I didn't tell you who was going to be on this week. He is my friend, a great dude, great humanitarian, great football player. He's just great. That's all I can say about him. What else can I say about him? Come on in the room. Mr. Mike Quick, what's going on? There he is.
Listen, man, I really enjoyed that introduction. You reminded me of Cosby, the moves, like the little dance.
I think that's where I got that from.
You know how the Cosby Show would come on and he was doing all these crazy dances?
Yep, doing all the crazy dance, yeah. I might have stolen a little bit, one or two of those moves from him. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that's what it put me in the mind of. Like, yeah.
How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. My life is good.
Yeah, I know your life is good. And every time I see you, my life gets better. Every time I talk to you.
I have no complaint. I love the beard too, man. That thing is looking pretty sharp. Yeah, when I get older like you, I want a beard like that.
Look, I told you we're not gonna make this show about me. This show is about you today. This show is about you today.
I like the beard.
But thank you. I appreciate that. My wife wants me to cut it down, but not gonna happen.
Hold on, can I back up too? Like the graphics and all that, like that's cool stuff you got going on.
Thank you.
Now you can get some young dude to like help you with your dance moves and like take it up a notch. But I like that whole Cosby feel when it comes on.
Well, you know what? I like playing the old man card. When I work out, I do CrossFit training. I'm in there with all these young cats, and I'm keeping up with them. And I get finished, and I yell across the gym, "What's the matter with you old boy? With you young boys? You can't keep up with the old man." So I like playing the old man card. I do. I really do. Sure. It's pretty cool. I just want to say before I get into your stats because I'm not sure if everybody knows you were with us on the Green Legion last year, but we never really did go over your stats. I never really did talk anything about that. But I want people to know this man right here that's sitting next to me is a friend of mine. And I say that strongly. I don't use the word friend anymore, just haphazardly. He is a friend of mine. At the worst moment in my life, he made sure that he reached out and that he connected with me, and he was by my side. One of the tragedies in this world, and not so much, or one of the things that hurt the most in this world, not so much the words that come from our haters, but it's the silence of our friends. And this man made sure that he reached out to me, made sure that we connected, made sure that I knew that he was on my side and going to stand next to me and supported me. So thank you, my brother. You really will never, ever know how much that meant. And the more time goes by and the more I experience some of the fallout, and I still am, from that incarceration, the more powerful your friendship becomes in my life. So thank you. Thank you. You just,
hey man, I do appreciate you saying that, but you don't even have to say that, because something else happens, I'm still going to be right there, because that's who I am.
Well, nothing else is going to happen, because I can't afford any more setbacks in my life. Not like that.
We never know what tomorrow may bring. So
well,
maybe rain.
yeah, you're right. But, and I believe that.
Brother,
I believe that you will.
Even if it's rain, or even if it's a cloudy day. Yes, I'm that dude, and I want to always be that dude.
Well, okay. Then the next time we're on the golf course, then let me beat you. How about that?
That's a different story now. That's a By the way,
go ahead. Yep.
By the way, I do know that you are seeking help, that you are getting help, that you are going into the same establishment that helped me with my golf swing.
They told you,
I know that you're going over there getting lessons because you want to get to this. So keep it up.
Do you know?
I keep up with what's going on.
Yes. No, you just go over there to hit balls, and they told you I was over there. That's all it was.
What's going on?
Because every time I go over there, they tell me, well, Mike was here just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. I got to keep it right, because I know they're coming after me.
Oh, I'm coming after you, bro. You're not my first target, but I meant what I said some years ago. I had to take some time off, but I meant what I said some years ago, that I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Don't wait too long.
Well, I'm going to wait. Look, when you get 65 years old, are you going to hit from the front tees, from the 65-year-old tees?
So I can do that actually next year, but it just depends. If I can still hit the ball the way I hit it, there's no sense in it. But if I'll hit from where, listen, I'll do this. I'll hit from wherever you hit from.
Oh, well, okay. You won't be 65 when I come.
You're younger than I am.
I said you won't be 65. I won't be 65, but I'm not that far behind you. Not that far behind you.
You're going to be 60 this year.
I'm already 60.
All right, that's right. You'll be 61 this year then.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll be 61 this year, yeah. What's up, Darrell, Carolina? What's going on? There's some people coming in the house, just coming online. I can see their comments. Good being with us today. Thank you for joining us. There's a bunch of folk that are joining us, have joined us right now. You're not putting anything in the comments. Please do acknowledge yourselves so we can acknowledge you. If you have any questions, as Mike and I talk throughout this podcast, please let us know. Put a Q and then a semicolon. That way I know it's a question, and we'll throw it up for Mike and I to look at it and respond to your questions. Listen, you all who are listening right now, Anton, what's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. You all may not know about this Michael Anthony Quick. What a name. I went government on you, bro. That's that. Where that name come from? Let's stay there.
My oldest sister.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'm one of 9.
Yeah, 9 siblings.
I'm number 7 in the pecking order. My oldest sister Rosa, she named me. There was some show about this guy Michael Anthony who was a millionaire, and he would go around and he would just give people $100 bills. He'd knock on your door and give you. Yeah. And I don't know why my sister was fascinated with that show, but she named me. My mom allowed her to name me, and she named me Michael Anthony after that show. Now, some people who are older than you and I, they would know that show,
right?
But I don't really know the show.
Wow. Have you ever gone around and given anybody $100 bills?
Well, Maybe.
You didn't come by my door. David Hunt, what's going on? William Walker, good to see you. Richard Melton, good to see you. Y'all are chiming in. I see you right now. Okay, Darrell, I see you. Listen, 1982, first
Yep.
round draft choice. Philadelphia Eagles, 9 years in the NFL. Your NFL career actually was cut short because of injury, but in that short period of time, 9 years, well, I guess 9 years is not considered a short period of time these days,
No.
but 5 Pro Bowls, 2-time first team All Pro. My goodness, there was a game, I think it was 85, where you went 99 yards in overtime, pass from Jaworski. You led the league in receiving yards in 1983, just off the chain, just going crazy. But your career was cut short, man. I was looking at your stats, and it was just 9 years. I mean, it's almost kind of the same scenario, different injury, almost the kind of same scenario as a Sterling Sharp, who was on fire when he came into the league, and obviously would have been a first round Hall of Fame selection had he been able to continue to play. What was the injury that cut your career short? Was it tough for you to make that decision? And talk to us about that.
I had some very serious patella tendonitis and ended up having surgery on my patella. Went out to South Lake Tahoe, that famous doctor out there, Richard Stedman, who was the Olympic team doctor. So he did the surgery on me and on the one knee, and then I went back out as soon as that knee was strong enough to take care of me, and I had the other one done. So I had both knees done, and they both were just bad. And I think I attribute a lot of it to the turf at Vet Stadium that I played on and practiced on. It just wore me out. The fact that I played, sports year round most of my life, and then having to play on that vet turf and practice on the vet turf, it just took a whole lot out of me and out of my legs. And after those 2 surgeries, I actually thought I could come back and play. I did all my rehab and I tried to get back to play, but then I realized that I wasn't going to be able to play anymore. So right before the Eagles went to training camp, in the 91 season, was it 91? Yeah, 91 season. Early that July, I called a meeting and I went in and I told them that I was going to retire. I had to retire because, doctors had told me that it would be difficult. And I realized, I snapped my quad.
Wow.
During some of my rehab. And so that's when I realized, okay, let me get into doing something else. Let me move on. I've had my time. The other part to that is, though, my last year playing in 90, a lot of my practices, I had to go to practice after taking painkillers just to get through a practice. And I didn't practice a whole lot. I would practice maybe one day, like one full practice, because I couldn't get through a full practice if I was going to play on Sunday. I couldn't practice too much because of all the pain that I was dealing with. So it required painkillers just to get through a practice. So I knew during that year that my time was coming close to an end, and I just worn myself down. And once you lose your legs in this game, then it's time to move on and do something else, grow up. So I had to grow up.
Particularly as a wide receiver, well, any other position as well. Yeah, you need your legs in football, any sport really. But people just don't realize. I mean, I've done that before, not necessarily pain. I don't know what kind of painkillers you're talking about, but I got to the point as I got older that I needed to take something to get through practice for the pain. And people, I don't think they realize what we do to ourselves, what we go through, and then what we do to ourselves on top of that to play the game. And then that turf, like you said, I came to the vet late in my career, and man, that turf was was no joke. They put it in stadiums when they first came out with artificial turf. They put it in stadiums because they thought that, and it did make the game faster, and it was better for TV because it weren't in mud and uniforms were clean. You could see the numbers, but it did a job on our bodies, our knees.
That's sure. And for the ownership and for the NFL, it was better for them. But for the players in the long run, it ends up shortening your career, and it ends up causing a lot of problems. Even like a lot of times when a player hits the field and his head snaps back, that's where a lot of the concussions come from. And when you're on an artificial surface that's based with concrete,
Mm-hmm.
with a concrete base, and then there's a layer, and then synthetic turf on top, that that's just not the way you want to slam your head. You have a much better chance if it's on a natural surface, is what I'm trying to get at. But
And it's not necessarily you slamming your head; it's somebody else slamming your head on the ground
yeah,
for you.
yes. So
No, my
so
people ask
that
me who was my hardest hit, who hit me the hardest, and I tell them it was the turf.
is the
Hitting
turf.
my head on the turf. I got
Yeah,
most of my concussions from my head hitting the turf because
yeah,
it was that hard. Concrete, like your back porch, where you got that concrete, you got that little greenery, fake grass on the back porch.
yeah.
The same thing, playing on the same thing. Mama, what's up? My mama's watching right now. She said hi.
Oh, hey,
Sister Sally, Steve Andrews, Kenneth Casper Sr., what's going on? Good to see all of y'all. We got a whole host of folk watching us right now. I'm going to get into the next session. I'm going to get into your broadcast career right now. But what I want to do is I want to go back and talk about you growing up, man. You grew up in South Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, Hammett, North Carolina. Is that correct? Hammett,
Yeah,
North Carolina. And I was watching a video of you where they took you back and you were standing in front of what was the house that you grew up in. You and the 9 siblings. You said one room all the girls were in. One room was the bedroom for the boys, and it was just. I saw 290. Was it 297? Was the address on? And it looked like just a shack, man. I mean, I don't. That's where you can. How did you get to where you are from there? I mean, come on. I know you told the story about, the school and being in the field and growing up, the field you had to cross to get to school, and that's where you played, and all
yeah,
your siblings were in sports. Because it's when you look at that, and
yeah,
and then I look at the man that I know today, I'm like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
how did he get from there to here, and is doing as well as he is right now without having been tripped up or hit too many bumps in the road or dig some hole that he could not have gotten out of.
You'll have to understand, and I know you understand. It's only by the grace of God that I'm here to have this conversation with you today. That I got an opportunity to live my dream. The one thing I wanted to do, because I realized that I was really talented in sports and I could play any sport. You throw a ball out, and I could figure out how to be one of the best players at any ball you put in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gifted in that way. And I knew that that was a way to get my family out of poverty. Um, when we moved to the projects, it was moving up in the world because you saw the little shack that I was
Right.
in my early years, and it was a shack. Um, yeah, I was in like my brothers and I. We slept 2 and 3 to the bed. I'm on one end of the bed, and I got somebody's feet in my face because we were all long.
And we only see that in movies, but it was real life for you.
It's real life for me. A lot of people think that this is something way back in history. Well,
Right.
it's really my true history. And when we got out of the little shack that you saw in that piece, moved to the projects, and but I told a little bit about it. We've always had a real close family, and it
Mm-hmm.
was, we had to be close. We had to look out for one another. We looked out for one another. We still today look out for one another. But the glue was my mother, and the fact that she was a God-fearing woman, and she spent her time just providing for us and making sure that we went to church. So that little town that I grew up um, in part of the Bible Belt, you had to go to church
Mm-hmm.
on Sundays. And then it was like football season. Everybody in town went to the high school games during the football season because that's what we did. And it's crazy how many great athletes have come out of that little place because that's what you get used to. And then the different generations just bring. So I can go home now and I'll see kids and I'll like, whoa, that guy looks like, and it is. It's like somebody that I know from different generations.
Right.
It's their one of their siblings,
One-
and then end up finding out that he's a great athlete. He's like his grandfather or blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah.
Right.
There are a lot of people come out of there that are just really talented people.
You
Kind
know
of
any
similar to
names
where
that
you
we
grew up.
yeah, you know any names that we'd be familiar with?
Perry Williams.
Yeah.
Perry Williams played for the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin Stubbs played baseball. He played for the Yankees. He played for the Dodgers and Houston, a couple of places like that. Harry Stanback, who played in the NFL, played with the Colts. Went to University of North Carolina. Gosh, then some of the younger guys, Sturgis
That name sounds familiar.
played for the Cowboys. Oscar Sturgis.
And well, your mother's name was Mary. Mary,
Yes.
women named Mary seem to have special children.
No question. No question. No
So
question.
so when you were able to make it to the league, and I'm going to go back and talk about your time at the military school, Fork Union.
Yep.
When you're able to make it to the league, what did you do for your family? Did you were you able to go back, get them?
You know what I did. I got them out the projects.
Well, yeah, I want you to say it. I wasn't there.
So when I realized that I was going to be a top draft pick, and I knew I would be one of the first wide receivers off the board, I was almost sure I was going to be a number one draft pick. I told my mom and my sister to go find a place. I said, "You guys need to go shopping. You guys need to go shopping for a house. We need to get a place because I'm about to get paid and we're getting out of the projects."
Nice.
And that's what happened. So we bought this real nice spread. It's a rancher, real nice spread, and it's on about 6 acres. But since then, we've bought like 5 properties around the original property that I bought in 1982. And so we have a quick homestead down there.
A quick complex.
Yeah, so we got a compound.
A quick compound, yeah. It's welcome to the quick compound. Listen, I'm gonna take a break. I'll be right back. I gotta shout out some more of these sponsors. Hold on, I'll come right back to you. All right. Echelon Health and Fitness, located in Voorhees, New Jersey, voted best gym in South Jersey 5 years in a row. Membership starting at $8.99 per month. Y'all, that's pretty good. Family and locally owned. Indoor track, newest cardio and strength training equipment. 3 studios, indoor pool, whirlpool, and dry sauna. Kids Club, over 100 group fitness, and 100 group fitness, and Thrive personal training sessions per week. Yes, including but not limited to Les Mills Body Pump and Grit, Boot Camp, Bar, Yoga, Zumba, Spin, and more, and Hot Bar. Aqua Conditioning, Aqua Dance, and Mat Pilates. Boy, y'all, that's a lot. Echelon members save at over 800 local businesses simply for being an active member. Call 856-454-92976. Yeah, call 856-454-2976 for a free 30-day all-access pass, or go to Echelon HF. That's echelonhf.com. Woo, that's a lot. We're back. That's a mouthful right there. That's a mouthful. Can you get some with the Echelon?
Yeah, when we get the hookup.
Just tell them Irving sent you.
Yeah.
No, they won't charge you double. Tell them Irving said they better not charge you double. William Lenny Smith, what's going on? Boy, good to see y'all. We got a whole bunch of folks. Stu Winrow, Wanda Cunningham, Craig Kelman. Man, this folk I haven't seen in years. My goodness. It's because you're on the show, Mike Quick.
Yeah, they didn't even know I was coming on.
Yeah, they didn't know you coming, but they found out. Word got around. They didn't come on to just a few minutes ago, so word got around, and now they're showing up. Listen, how did you get into? I mean, you're the voice. You and Merrill Reese, you're the voice of the Eagles right now. 94.1 WIP live radio during the games. How did you get that gig, man? That's the gig of a lifetime. How did you Did you smile? that's a look like an evil smile right there. How did you
No,
get that
man.
gig, man?
I got to go back to my original.
The man upstairs. Well, that's yeah. Your gift will
Gracie.
make room for you for
So
sure.
listen, I wasn't even looking for this. When I left the game, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I went into business for myself. Had a distribution business, electronic commodities, and just kind of doing my thing. But I remember when Comcast Sportsnet first started, they asked me to come on to be an analyst, and they wanted me to do this segment called Mondays with Mike. And I started doing Mondays with Mike. Um, 2 years later, or 3 years later, I got a call just kind of out of the blue
Hmm.
asking me if I'd be interested in doing the Eagles radio broadcast because the guy at the time, Stan Walters, his wife had gotten a job in England and they were moving out of the country. And unbeknownst to me, a lot of different people had already sent in their tapes and were trying to audition for this job. But I'm going on about my business. I didn't even know this was even happening. And I get a call out of the blue. And I said, oh, it was Merrill. So Merrill Reese called me like, hey, this is going on. Would you have any interest? And I said, man, I don't know anything about that. He said, yeah, but he said, yeah,
We'll
but I
figure it
think
out
you
on the
would.
way.
He said, yeah, but I think you would be good at doing it. And what's funny is my entire career, win, lose, draw, whatever, Merrill could always come to my locker and get sound bites from me. I would always have a conversation with
Right.
him. Didn't
Right.
matter the outcome of the game.
Hmm.
He always knew he could get a sound bite. So he felt like when they were looking for people to replace Stan Walters, he wanted them to talk to me.
Hmm.
So after I got the call from Merrill, probably an hour later, I got a call from the radio station. They're asking me and asking me what would it take for me to do this job. So I told them, and it was a pie in the sky. And because I was comfortable, I was working, I had my own little thing going on. I was trying to build, and I wasn't looking to do this.
Hmm.
So I told them what it would take. They asked me, what would it take? I told them what would it take, and the guy's like, well, that's twice as much as the guy ahead of you.
Said that ain't my problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's on you. You ask me, so
Right.
I'm comfortable. I do what I do every day, and I'm okay. I
Uh-huh.
don't need to change. I don't need to change my like. You're asking me. This is what it would take for me to get out of what I'm doing and put my time into what you're asking me to do.
Right.
So he said, "Well, I'll have to get back to you on that." And this is
But
like
obviously
look,
they met your
look.
request.
This is like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I didn't hear from him Thursday, Friday. I'm thinking, oh well, I blew that one. But
You
then
came too high. You're supposed to come down a
that's
little
what I
lower.
was thinking. I was thinking I blew this opportunity, but
Yeah.
hey. But then Monday or Tuesday they give me a phone call and say, okay, well we figured out a way to do it, and
Wow.
25 years later, I'm still in the booth with Merrill and having a blast, and really am being blessed to do what I do, and it sets me up, Irving, to do a whole lot of other things because once the season is over, my
Hmm.
time is mine. I get to play golf and
Yeah, I
do
know
things.
you get to play golf.
Yeah, yeah, and just do other things that the other like income streams that I can start to build. I've been able to do that over time, and it's been good. I'm in a good situation, and I'm truly a blessed man.
When I grow up, I want to be like Mike Quick. No, when I
Oh,
grow
you
up, I want to be Mike Quick, not like Mike Quick.
know,
25 years, you and Merle. You've
yeah,
seen you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot in terms of the franchise, the Eagles.
yeah,
We're going to get into our last section of the show, our last slot. But this year seems to have been, or seems to be, a special year. A lot of things that have been good, favorable,
yeah,
exciting. Records being broken. A
yeah.
lot has happened this year. They're obviously in the playoffs. Is this the most memorable year out of all the years you've been doing radio, or is there one that's a little more memorable to you?
Well, I have to go to the 2017 season where they took it the distance. That
Mm-hmm.
is the most memorable.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, in terms of regular season, and because I didn't see this happening in 2017 when they went to and won the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
they were a good team, but they had a lot of fortune along the way, and one being that they were so healthy. The offensive line was healthy almost the entire season, and the five starters played almost every game. But this is different. You're right. This is a team that's like really talented. They have so much talent at every position, and they can overwhelm you with their talent. And I think that's what happened in the first matchup with the Giants. That they were just so overwhelming because they're so talented at every position. And this has been a special season. And I've gone into most of the games feeling real comfortable that this team would win games because they're so talented.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a smart young coaching staff, I believe. And when you have that, when you have, first of all, the horses, and then you have the right people that are making the calls and that are like getting these guys ready, prepping them for each and every game and going through game plans and breaking down other teams, and they're smart about the way they attack other teams, yeah, that's a pretty good formula. And it's really panned out for this season.
Talk a little bit about the horses. You talked about the horses they have on the team. How many options, are on this offensive squad, and how difficult it is. It's got to be a defensive coordinator's nightmare to try to figure out how we're going to stop this one, how we're going to stop that one, how we're going to stop the running game. We got a double-headed monster in the running game. You got three legitimate threats in the passing game. Matter of fact, this year your record was broken. A.J. Brown broke your record in terms of the yardage, and then my record was broken too this year. And I didn't even know. You know what? I didn't know that I had a record as a Philadelphia Eagle until this year when it was announced that they were getting ready to break it. I didn't know it was a record.
So yeah, well, and in today's game, you throw the ball a whole lot. So all the records from the time that we played, all those records should have been broken already in my mind.
And they needed an extra game to break our records, because they didn't break our records in the 16 game.
Yeah,
they broke our records in the 17th game. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I still got the record. Now you gave up your jerseys to A.J. Brown, so you advocated your throne. I'm not advocating my throne.
Well, it was a passing of the torch.
Okay, passing the torch. I'd look at it more like handing off the baton.
So what was really cool though after that game is I did a little interview, a little piece with him, and then he went into the locker room and he comes back out with the jersey that he had worn that night, grass stains and all, and he signs over the jersey to me that he wanted me to have the jersey after he broke my record. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that dude. I like this receiving core. I like both these dudes. I think they're fantastic young men. Devontae Smith, unbelievable skills. Love the skills that guy has.
Yeah.
He broke your record. He has 95 receptions now.
Right.
And yet he's going to shatter your record by the end by the time it's all said and done. And, my record had stood for 39 years. Come on, man. It's time. Records are made to be broken.
Well, particularly as much as they throw the ball now, yeah.
The ball, yeah. So the record stood for 39 years.
Well, that speaks to how awesome you were, my brother, and you did it in definitely less catches than it took him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they didn't throw the ball nearly as much back then. Guys now can get targeted 15 times in a game. There's no way I ever got targeted that many times in a game.
In 3 games.
Right. It took 3 games for me to get 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really am enjoying this football team, enjoying these young guys, because not only are they great talents, but they're really good young men. Enjoy being around them, and highly respectful of the history of the game.
Yeah,
and I do appreciate that.
Before you went to North Carolina State, you went to a military school, Fort Union Military School.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this later. Just remind me to talk about it. But when you got to the league, you were blocking like me. You weren't doing a whole lot of catching balls because you didn't catch a lot of balls at North Carolina State. But talk to the people about that experience. Coming out of high school, you didn't have the GPA. You talked to your coach. And then you ended up going into a military academy, which, in your words, was the best decision you ever made.
Yeah, it was. It was clearly, and making that decision at like 17, 18 years old, I think it's the smartest move that I made, like looking at the strategy to get me to where I am today. I looked at possibly going to like some small schools and playing basketball because I could go to any of those schools. But my coach set me down one day and he said, you don't even realize how talented you are. And what you need to do is take a year to work on your academics, and then you can go anywhere in the country. And he was right. I went to Fort Union Military Academy because they offered me a full scholarship to go and just improve academically. I'd never been on the honor roll dean's list. So I go to Fort Union and they make you study, they make you do the work. I'm on the honor roll, I'm on the dean's list.
Nice.
And it's the first time that I really was forced to sit down and do the work that I should be doing. And that move at Fort Union really helped me in so many ways, not only academically, but physically. My body got a lot stronger. I matured as a young man. And when I left Fort Union and I went to NC State, I could see that I was so much further along than the other freshmen that came in my class.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being a starter my freshman year. And when in college, the wide receiver group that you're with, they're your buddies. Those are the guys that you hang around with,
Right.
even when you're not on the football field.
Right.
And some of these guys are juniors and seniors, and I'm already taking their job as a freshman. And sometimes it doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right, but it is what it is. And I just, when I got there, I knew that I was ready. I knew I was ready.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Fort
awesome.
Fort Union did a lot for me. And still, what's crazy is, if I take you in my closet right now,
Mm-hmm.
all of my shirts are hanging in a certain order. To some of the things that I learned there, I still carry with me today because I had never had the type of discipline that I had to learn. I had to once I got to Fort Union.
Well, I mean, it was a great thing.
Yeah.
We need some of our young people to acquire some of that discipline, whether it's in with their schools or at home, or whether they have to go to a military school, because it carried over, as you said, you mentioned it to me before. It's carried over into your life, and it still exists in your life at plus 60 years old. So
and some of the things like getting order in your life,
mm-hmm.
and getting a format to what you do, it's so important. And there's nothing like preparation. And when you learn how to prepare for things, then you go into things and the confidence level is different when you know you're prepared.
Right.
Like it's amazing the little discipline. And so growing up in sports, like this, growing up in football, we learn to be disciplined. We learn to do certain things, but there are other things that I hadn't learned that I did once I got to Fort Union.
Yep, it makes you a whole person. It makes you have confidence as a person, not just a football player, but in your being. We're going to take one last break and come back to our last section. All right, hold on one second, Mike. What's going on, Omega Swami and David Hunt and Vincent Capriati? Good to see everybody. Stu, Craig Kelman, I think I shouted you out earlier. Y'all listen, don't hang out alone in the man cave for football this season. Try hanging out at Cheerleaders. Yeah, hang out at Cheerleaders. $4 Miller Lights, Jameson specials, and awesome game day prizes during all day Sunday and Monday games. That's right. Stop in right before, during, or after the game. Not only to see your favorite entertainers, but also to get your chance to win an awesome game day prize. The most epic game day experience is at Cheerleaders, where the champions play. Yeah, Cheerleaders is open daily from noon until 2 a.m. All right, we're coming back to Mike. We're back, Mike. Take care of our sponsors. Listen, big game. Giants, Eagles. NFC Conference playoff game. It's the first game because the Eagles had the week off. It's their first playoff game this year because they're number one seed in the NFC, and they're playing the Giants for the third time. First time the Eagles, week 14, blew out the Giants.
Yes.
Last game the Eagles played, which was week 19, last game of the season, the Eagles beat the Giants. The Giants didn't play their starters, but to me, it wasn't necessarily a satisfying defeat. Jalen came back. You could say he was rusty, I guess. Some of the play calling wasn't geared towards him running the ball as it had been in the past, which leads a lot of people to think that he's more hurt than they're leading on. Talk to us about the game. What's your feeling? I am a little bit nervous. I'm not sure because listen, man, the Giants are rising. Yeah.
I agree.
Daniels has been playing good the last 3 games.
Yeah, Jones.
Yeah. Jones, I'm sorry. Yeah. He's been playing good the last 3 games. They've been playing well as a team the last 3 games.
Yes.
They're ascending as a team going into their second game of the playoffs. Their wild card last week beat the Vikings. They proved that they can lose to a team early in the year, then go on the road and beat them later in the year because they did that with the Vikings. They lost to the Vikings earlier, went on the road and beat the Vikings. So give me something, man. Holla. What do you think about the game? I know you got to say, I know you don't have to say it. Well, there's a way you have to say it. Let me say it that way.
Well, here's the way that I look at it. I know it's tough to beat a team 3 times in the same season, and you're right. You mentioned the first game where the Eagles blew them out in Week 14. Then they played them at the end of the season, where both teams didn't use all of their players. Right. Not only did they not use all their players, they were as vanilla as you can be. It felt more like a preseason game, more than a regular season game. So that game, I didn't even go back to watch that game. I won't even spend any time watching that game in preparation for this game.
You're talking about the last game they played when they played the last game of the season, yeah.
Week 18. I won't even look at that game. I go back to Week 14 because that's a game you can watch and understand what they were doing.
Right.
But since that game, the Giants have gotten so much better.
Right.
They've changed what they do defensively. So Wink Martindale is their defensive coordinator. And he's a guy that grew up in a system where you just attack the quarterback. And that's what they were doing all season. For 3/4 of the season, all they were doing, regardless of who the corners and the guys on the back end of their defense were,
right.
They don't necessarily, they're not good cover guys, but we're going to blitz anyway.
Put pressure on the quarterback, yeah. They blitz 44% of the time.
That's right. More than any team in football,
right.
They were blitzing the quarterback. What's happened is that's changed since that Week 14 loss to the Eagles. And they started to play a whole lot more zone coverage on the back end. And the fact that they're healthier up front and that Dexter Lawrence can come in and just wreck a game in the middle of their defense, he's helped them out so much. They've gotten a whole lot better. The other kid, Thibodeau, is playing really well coming off the edge. They're a better football team now.
Right.
And defensively, they've changed things up. So the Eagles are going to have to kind of wait and see if they're going to be attacking or if they're going to sit back the way they've done in the past 3 games. They don't know what they're doing now because they've kind of changed up.
Right. It's not the same team.
What they do defensively, they've changed it up. So now it's a filling out process. You got to figure out what they're going to do against you. Offensively, you mentioned Daniel Jones. I just think that kid has grown so much as a quarterback and seems like from week to week he's gotten better.
You know, he's got over 700 yards rushing. He's got 700 yards rushing. I mean, Jalen Hurts has 700 plus yards. I mean, he has more and more touchdowns, but come on, he's right there. He's using his legs.
And Jones is bigger. He's 6'5", 35. He's a
lot bigger.
He's a lot bigger. Saquon Barkley is healthy now, and he's like in that game in Minnesota, he was running like a madman.
Yeah. He didn't get a lot of yards. I mean, he got some passing and some rushing, and they were just explosive plays.
So early, he attacks him down the left side, gets a long touchdown run down the left sideline. And just kind of strategically throughout the game, he made key plays.
Right.
Same thing with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones ran for 7 first downs in that game.
Right.
And that's a big key to why they're winning the way they're winning. That's a good football team now. They have a mobile quarterback who also can throw the football. Their tight end contributed a lot in that game against Minnesota. Their game against Minnesota earlier in the season, Daniel Jones threw the ball for over 40 times. That's the first time they allowed him to do that, throw the ball that many times. It tells me that they're much more comfortable with him running this system now.
Right.
And keep in mind, this is his first year in this system.
Right.
But you get to the latter part of the season, you see more, you recognize more, you're able to process faster, get the ball out, and all these things that they're doing now. And he really did a good job of getting the ball out on the short, intermediate passing game. And that's kind of what the Eagles have to expect. The Giants are a much better team. So, like you, I'm a little bit nervous because I'd like to go into a game a little bit nervous. I don't want to feel like, oh, they're going to crush whoever they play.
Right.
I understand that these guys are paid well too. They're professionals and they're looking at ways and they feel like they can come in and win just like I do. So that's the approach that I took when I was younger as a player. That's the approach that I take now. You got to look at them and give them their respect, their due, and line up and play.
Well, that was when you were a player. When I was a player, yeah, we give them the respect, but we actually went out and played. So we can handle the business. We could take care of that nervous anxiousness or whatever it was that we had, or respect for the other team. But we went out and played.
Listen. What's crazy is 25 years in the booth, I still get nervous before games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nervous for the team, or nervous that you'll get names and stuff wrong like me? That's what I do. I get names wrong. I jack up names and stuff.
No. It's just a nervous pregame energy. It's like it's that energy that you're ready to like get it going. And
right.
Once we get into the opening of then I can settle in and just start to call the game. But yeah, I get that nervous energy before every game still.
One of the things that the Eagles defense does a great job stopping the run when it comes to running backs.
Yeah.
But I saw a stat where they don't do a good job. I think it's over 5 yards a carry against quarterbacks who run the ball. So, and again, like you said, it's a different story this time. They're bringing in a different attitude. They're bringing in a different game as far as the Giants are concerned. Then you got Daniel Jones running that ball. That's something I think, just like with other teams when it comes to Jalen Hurts, they've got to try to account for Jalen, but they really can't. And in that area, the quarterback running the ball, we have not done a good job. So like you said, he got 7 first downs last week against the Vikings. Let's hope they can keep Daniel under wraps, from running that ball.
Yeah, well, traditionally, you're not game planning, or the defense is not geared to stop a quarterback who runs. So you're adding a guy in when you have a quarterback like a Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts.
Right.
You're adding an element that defenses are not designed to stop. So now you've got to spend a lot of time figuring out during the course of the week of how to game plan against that type of team that has a quarterback that can hurt you running the football. It's not just something that the defense is not used to. That's one of the reasons why this team has been so hard to stop. When you've got a quarterback, he looks like he's going to hand it off over here to the halfback, and then he decides to keep it and he goes around the other way. Well, if everybody's running to the halfback rather than being concerned about this quarterback coming out the back end, then you got problems.
You know what I thought the Bears, and we're almost done, Mike, but you know what I thought the Bears were doing, the Bears defense? They were making Jalen commit to running the ball. In other words, they were crashing down because Jalen watches the end, and if he crashes down, then he pulls the ball and keeps it himself, and he'll run it or he'll throw it to the tight end or throw it a short pass downfield. And I thought that the Bears, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the Bears were making him, they were going ahead and they were committing to the back, and they were crashing down on the back and making Jalen run the ball so that they could tackle Jalen. And let's tackle him, let's rough him up. When we tackle him, let's tackle him hard, because that was a legal tackle. When Jalen's running the ball, he's 4 or 5 yards down the field. He's not going to slide. He's going to go head first. And if they jump on him and they put their weight on him at 5 yards and he's got his going head first, that's a legal tackle with the quarterback. He doesn't get all of the benefits of being in the pocket when he's running down the field going head first. So I thought that's what the Bears were doing to get Jalen out of his game.
Well, listen, they're going to tackle him, and they're going to tackle him hard. when you get a chance to hit a quarterback, you hit him. You
Hit
make
him.
sure you hit him. And and that's what you have to expect that.
Right.
If that's the style you're going to play, you have to expect that somewhere along the way, this is football and your quarterback's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Wow. Well, listen, man, our show is only an hour long. I'm going to have you back. It was a whole year. The Fryar Place was in existence. We were up and running. It's been a year and a half now. This was the right time to bring Mike Quick in. But, Mike, we're going to bring you back, particularly right before the Eagles play in the Super Bowl. How about that? I'm going to try to get you. I can bring you and Ike Reese and Hollis Thomas on all at the same time, and we'll come to the Fryar Place with the Green Legion right before the Super Bowl. Is that all right with you?
I like that idea, man.
You're going to be out there, right?
I will be out there.
We're going to get together out there, right? I promised you something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm
you see it, y'all? Did y'all see his eyes light up?
Hey, man. Listen, brother, it's always good to chat with you. I will chop it up with you anytime. Always fun. I'm glad to see the Fryar Place is still alive, popping, and cooking, and hot. All that good stuff. It's hot in the Fryar Place.
Hey, man, I didn't tell you. I got a golf simulator.
So that is not going to help you. You come on and jump in this fire, brother. Listen. Get your gadgets and like.
No, I ain't got no gadgets. I just got a golf simulator. I ain't got no gadgets. I don't do gadgets.
Get you some gadgets. Get all that stuff. Like if you're up at night watching TV and they have these shows where you come on, like get.
I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. I ain't up at nighttime.
It'll make you hit the ball 20 yards further.
Nope.
Get all of that stuff.
I don't believe in none of that.
Get all of that stuff. Come on, bring it on.
I did have to fix my swing though. My takeaway was jacked up. I was too much swaying, bro. Too much swing. I was hitting the ball fat and did not know why. Too much swing or swaying. Period. You can't sway.
Well, you're hitting it good now.
I'm doing better. I'm doing better. Yeah, they'll let you know. Yeah, he gonna let you know.
I'll send you a video of you.
Oh, Lord have mercy. My stuff is private. He better not expose me like that.
How about I send you a video of you?
I'm gonna have to talk to Francis and Robert and make sure my stuff stays locked up over there. Get off my podcast, man.
Listen, I know how to do my scouting reports on anybody that I could possibly play. I gotta do a scouting report on you.
You get those, look, and that's right, you do. You get those scouting reports sent to you. I'm not going to have my report. It's not public knowledge.
It's a Philly thing.
It's a Philly thing. Bless you, man. I love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Man.
Talk to you soon, man. Thanks for coming on. All right. God bless. Yo, that's my friend Mike Quick, former NFL player, current, play-by-play, not play-by-play, color commentator with Merrill Reese. Merrill does the play-by-play for the Eagles games every week. And Mike Quick has been the color commentator for 25 years. They do an awesome job. WIP 94.1 radio. Yeah, 94 FM, I think they call it. Anyway, y'all, we're out of here. We're going to punt the ball right now. Yep, we're going to punt the ball to the Right On Cue show with none other than Quimby. Good to see everybody. Dave Hunt, God bless you. Omega Swami, thank you. Lionel Robinson. Yeah, Rodney Lewis, good to see you. Emodi, hey. David, I said David Hunt. Who else? Who else do I see? Craig Kelman, Wanda, William Lenny Smith, yeah. Steve Andrews, good to see you. Sister Sally, Mama, good to see you. Kenneth, William Walker, Donald Hunter, Richard Melton, Joseph James, happy birthday, Joseph James. West, we call him. Darrell, Carolina, Anton Milton. God bless y'all all. We'll see you next week here at the Fryar Place with the Green Legion. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, all right? We'll holler at y'all. Stay blessed. Take care of yourselves. Love on one another. In 2023, watch this. 2023, it's up to me. That's what we need to say to ourselves. In 2023, if it's going to be, it's up to me. I'll holler. Stay tuned next for the Right On Cue show with none other than Quimby.